developing breeds of excellence.
It's another wonderful episode of the Soaring Eagles Talk Show, the show that is here to build your life. Now, every individual acts differently, talks differently, behaves differently. There has to be something behind that. And for this reason, we are considering the topic building personal values. With me here to dissect the topic is
Mr. Emmanuel Chinedu Kereke, and I'm a mathematician and a
well, being a mathematician. I know you know much about values.
yeah, exactly.
So, please, can you define value?
Values are fundamental beliefs, and they could also be referred to as principles that guide an individual's decisions. They guide an individual's behavior or attitude.
So they are fundamental principles that guide one's behavior and attitude.
And behavior.
So if values are principles and fundamental behaviors, what then are personal values?
Okay, personal values are core beliefs.
Core.
Now, you are not just having something to guide your behavior, attitude, and decision generally. This is something that guides your own personal lifestyle. So, there are things you cannot do, there are things you cannot accept, there are things you cannot permit in your life because of these core values. They are like your moral compass that directs what you can do and what you should not do.
My moral compass.
Yeah.
My core beliefs. Why do I need them?
You need them because values can shape your life. Your values would help you to make decisions rightly. The kind of values you keep would help you to provide clarity when defining your goals. All right? Yes.
So I need my values to define my goals.
Yeah.
So how do I form these values? What will influence my
And there are
values?
many things that can influence people's values. The unit of the society is the family. So your family and your upbringing begins to influence your values, whether you know this or not. Yes. So how you are brought up would influence. The next is the society, the culture, where you find yourself. It has a way, sometimes you find yourself in a religious setting, and that religious setting has a way of shaping your values. Sometimes it's tradition, sometimes it's just societal norms. Other times, your education, the school you go to, even as a young person, has the ability to inform your values. When you get to school, you find mentors, you find teachers, and they're able to shape what you consider as your values. Other times, it is your life experiences. You could have personal life experiences. It could be experiences of successes, sometimes failures. At other times, it could be maybe societal, things that have happened in your society that brought life challenges. And while these challenges come up, you find out what made me succeed, what made me fail. Okay, so you want to curb on laziness, you want to work more on hard work and all of that. Sometimes it's the media. The media could influence people's values. Peer pressure. They are seeing others doing it, and so they are stepping down on their values. So all of these have a way of influencing our personal values.
So the first being the family.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know it. It just starts. So if a child is born in a family where the father is a drunkard, unknowingly, he either gets influenced in a negative or a positive way.
Exactly.
Because I think I have a classmate that I think he has a father who I should call him a drunkard. The way he despises the father's attitude, I'm sure that he will never in his lifetime go into drinking. So unknowingly, it has affected him in that way. It has created a value of saying no to alcohol.
Positively right now. And that's why we need to put it out there that what is currently happening in your family should not define you. You should want to break the pattern. You should want to stop that pathway so that it doesn't keep replicating in the future generations. It should end with you.
So how can these values affect our choices in life?
Values goes a long way in affecting our choices in life. Generally, you see, um, your values can help in filtering your relationships. You know, the success we would all end up making in life depends on largely on the kind of relationship we keep. So your values go a long way in affecting your relationship. Number two, it's going to affect or inform the kind of decisions you make. So you become very careful, and the outcome of our lives are the products of our decisions. So if you have the right values, you're going to make the right decision, and then in the end, have a good life.
You spoke about relationship, and since we are talking about values, so how do we take on a situation where our values differ with those of others?
Um, the first thing you must note is that we are all different in life. So what you hold dear may not be what I hold dear. So the first thing you want to do is respect preferences, respect differences. See that I am different from you and you are different from me. And if you respect that, it would help you to understand other people's perspectives. Their perspectives may not really be right according to your judgment. But then if you understand that, it would help you, especially if you ever need to work in a team. That would go a long way in helping you. Number two, it's good you communicate openly.
Communication.
Yeah, when you get to any place, make sure your values are known to the people who are there. Discuss this calmly without trying to impose your values on anybody. And then it's important that you also set boundaries. There are people whose what they hold dear would want to influence your choice, would want to influence your decision. So it's important that you set boundaries. Oh, I wouldn't allow you do this. I wouldn't allow you go beyond this. Okay, this is the maximum I feel. And then while you set boundaries, it's good to set compromise.
Compromise?
Yes, create room for compromise. Find a common ground where possible.
Where possible.
Yeah, where
So
possible.
there could be a
Sometimes
situation where it's not
there
possible.
are values that we can uphold, and then if somebody tries to encroach into those values negatively, it wouldn't really deter or affect your personality.
So can you give an example?
All right, let's assume I remember a situation where was a sister in the church was admitted, and then she was discharged forcefully from the hospital because they needed to go on strike.
Okay.
So they did the surgery on, I think, Tuesday night. And on Wednesday morning, the doctor was saying, and it was a major surgery. And the doctor was saying, we need to take her out of this hospital. And so he said, but they've done the major things that we don't even need to go to another hospital, so we can just take her home. And so I got a few other people, and then we were to take her home. Unfortunately, it didn't occur to us, but we were all guys. So when we got to her house, it was a 4-story building. And then, of course, she wouldn't be able to walk on the staircase and go up. So we were supposed to assist her. I mean, literally lift her up and then take her up. So the other two guys said they don't touch ladies. That's their principle. That's their belief. That's their core beliefs. They don't touch ladies. So I looked at it and I felt very bad. I said, if this were my sister, number one, she's sitting in the car, and because of the gallops, she's feeling so uncomfortable. She needs to lie. So I spoke with the driver, and the driver said, "Oh, you that can touch ladies, let's go." It's not like I can touch ladies. It's just that that was a room for compromise. That was a case where you should compromise your values to the best of your ability. So I decided, okay, I'll hold her back, you hold her legs. So the driver held her legs, I held the back. While we were going up, she was quite chubby. While we were going up, I remembered, I think it was in the second floor, she screamed because I was getting exhausted. The driver, an old man, was also exhausted. And these two guys were just walking behind us and they were looking. It was when she screamed that the other guy came, and then
So
right now the other guy has impregnated somebody.
uh,
So you see, there are times where we should cut down on our values. There are times where we should seek for a room for compromise.
for certain values.
Yeah, for certain values.
All right. So, sir, how do we prioritize these values in our daily living?
What makes you prioritize your value is that, number one, you know your identity.
My identity. What
Yeah,
is my
you know who you are. So if I know who I am, there are people who don't know who they are. And so because they don't know who they are, they can afford to do anything. You can't find the president of this nation eating corn on the road. He just buys a piece of roasted corn and he's chewing it on the road. Now, with coconut. Now, that is impossible because he knows who he is. It's not like eating corn on the road is wrong, but because he has been able to tell himself over and over, look at the family I'm coming from, look at who I am. There are people who cannot just lie. They can't afford to tell a lie. They are honest because they know who they are. It would help you. There are people who cannot take carbonated drinks. They know I'm diabetic. I'm having health challenges already. So I wouldn't want to do that. So knowing your identity um, would help in prioritizing your personal values. Number two, it's important that you do a regular checkup on yourself. Sometimes just sit down and then you want to meditate. Get a journal and then check my actions. Do my actions match my values? There are people who don't do what they say. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. They don't do what they say. They don't say what they do. So you want to merge the both of them and make sure that, my actions and who I am perceived to be, are they correlating? And then you want to make adjustments. Number three, it's important you say no to misleading opportunities. So if you want to show, what shows that you prioritize your values are your ability to say no. Sometimes an opportunity comes and you say, even though this is great, I can't take it. That shows people might look at you and say you are foolish. This stuff is a good one. But what shows that you are prioritizing your values are that, for instance, somebody wants to pay you 100,000 naira to do a job that will take you 4 hours. And then you look at it and you say, no, I can't do that. And somebody is like, just 4 hours of your time, you can't dedicate for 100,000. You say, no, if it's not a million naira, I'm not doing. Now, that would help improve your personal value prioritization. So you become so value inclined, okay? And people can pay anything just to be with you, just to have you do their jobs, because you've improved on yourself and then you believe so much in yourself. Thank you.
You seem to be heading towards most of your points seem to direct towards something, habits. And I know that one cannot build values without habits.
Yeah.
So how do we learn to cultivate these habits?
Every time you talk about habits, you're talking about something you've repeated daily over a long period of time. Science tells us sometimes for 30 days. Yes, and the psychology tells us sometimes for 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard that before, that if you can do something for 10,000 hours, you become, not like 10,000 hours at a stretch, okay, over intervals, and then you can do that for 10,000 hours, you become so perfect at it. So if you can do a daily reflection. You want to, like I said, journaling, you are writing, you are meditating. What are my values, and how do I strengthen this? Okay, there are people who wake up in the morning and what they see just beside their bed is others may, but I cannot. That helps in informing your decisions. Number two, it's good to set value based goals. For instance, your health. You can decide I'm going to burn down some calories. You can decide I'm going to take my health seriously. So setting value-based goals are very important. Number three, you want to practicalize or practice integrity. Okay? Yeah, practicing integrity, practicing honesty over time is very important. Even when it is not convenient. Sometimes to tell a lie is the quick answer. Just tell a lie and walk away and maneuver this thing, and but you are free. But then it's important to be honest for as much as you can. Yeah. And it's also important, if you want to set up a habit, that you get the right set of people around you, so that you have people of same mind, people of same values. If you do that, that will go a long way.
You spoke about having the right set of people around you.
Yeah.
Now, how can people who are sources of inspiration to us help in setting our values?
I don't know if you've heard of the term role models. Role models are usually mentors, leaders, or maybe historical figures. Some of them might be late right now, but they are still the role models of many. And they influence us by, number one, by demonstrating their values into actions. So you see somebody singing without his shirt, without a cloth, just wearing trousers, and then he's on the stage and he's singing. Now, because you value that person as your role model, you find out that other musicians want to do the same thing, even though it's insane. It's insane to remove your clothes and you are singing without a shirt. All right, but it is now the lifestyle in the Afrobeat. That's because somebody has demonstrated his own values into actions. Number two, sometimes you find out that some persons, some of our role models, they inspire us by their integrity. Sometimes their integrity has led to some of the achievements they have in life. So they can come and tell you that I was being sincere, I was focused, I was hard work on my job, and then look at where it has led me to. And you who have that sense of diligence, that sense of hard work, you want to follow the same pathway, to see to it that you do well. And that would help us to adopt higher standards. I remembered some nights ago, I was about going to bed. I think it was past 12 already. And while I was about going to bed, I was with my phone and I just saw a message from Joshua Selman. He said, if you know you want to succeed, you can't be sleeping anyhow. I saw that. I was on my way to bed. It was past 12 already. I was walking, I was exhausted, and I just wanted to go and rest. When I saw that message, I turned back and went to the dining. I walked till, I think, past 2 a.m. And I said, I think now I can go to bed. I feel satisfied. I'm going to sleep knowing that I've achieved something. So if you've not achieved something, so you see, working with role models, imitating them has a way of increasing your standard of living. Yeah.
All right. So, we have been talking about this building of personal values. How will it impact my life if I'm to build my personal values, if I'm to set a high standard, if I'm to follow, I'm to talk the talk and walk the walk? How will it impact my life?
Number one, it's going to help you achieve greater clarity in decision making.
Clarity?
Yeah, like I said, our life, the outcomes of our life is based on the decisions we make. So if you have built strong personal values over the years, it has a way of impacting your life positively in the sense that you can make clear decisions. Oh, I cannot do this. Not like give me time to think, give me 1 year to think. If I think in 10 years, I won't do this. All right. So it has a long way. It goes a long way in helping you. Number two, that would boost your self confidence. Oh, I denied this. I said I was not going to do this, and that has helped in increasing your self confidence and reducing your anxiety. So you are no longer too worried. The reason why I missed that opportunity was because I couldn't do this. So you are not worried about it, all right? Because you are self-confident, and it would help you in building stronger relationships. There are people who see your values and they just appreciate it so much, and they say, "I want to work with somebody like you," just because of the way you behave. Yes, I know you cannot compromise. I know you cannot steal. I know there are things you cannot just do. You are the one I'm looking for. And that would help in increasing, it would attract people of like minds to you. Finally, I would want to say it helps in making your life authentic and original.
Authenticity.
Yes, authenticity and originality. There are people who are copying the crowd. They are copying everyone. They are trying to be like everyone. But there are guys who say, "This is who I am," and
this is what I can
this
do.
is what I can do. This is what they are authentic. They are original. They are not copying nobody. In fact, they are not looking for what has worked for other people. Yeah.
So, as time goes on, as we engage with people, as we go through life, there are things we have to change. Have you ever had an opportunity to reevaluate your values, change or adjust your values?
Yes, I have. I used to be a perfectionist. I want everything done excellently. I want everything done perfectly. In fact, I don't believe in it is better that it is done other than the fact that you are trying to delay to get it well done. So many people prefer done to well done. So the moment they give you a task, just deliver it. All right? Whether it's half baked or not, just make sure you deliver. I used to prefer getting things done rightly, perfectly. And so during my NYSC, I was always shouting from nursery school to the primary down to the secondary. In fact, the principal of the school loved me so much because, and I never deny any task. I was the mathematics teacher. They would tell me, "Can you type all the exam questions?" I was, everybody should bring the exam questions. I was a workaholic. I want to get things done until I went to the hospital and the doctor checked my blood pressure. I was 25 as at that time, 25 years old. And he said, "Young man, do you know you can sleep and not wake up?" I said, "Sir, what are you talking about?" He said, "Your blood pressure is so high. What's raising your pressure?" I said, "Sir, don't worry. I know where the issue is. I go to school, I shout from morning till night. I carry the work other people are supposed to do, and I'm helping them do it." And so I had to shift from being a perfectionist, even though I'm still
Was inclined
towards that. But I want to look at my health, and then I want to say, "Oh, I need to rest." Even though the task might not be done as well as I want it, but I can allow other people do it.
And I think that reevaluation helps in teamwork. And
Yes, it does a lot. It does a lot. Although many people feel the reward for a job well done is more work. But you just need to look at yourself and cut down on excesses so that you avoid burnout.
one out.
Yeah.
So I should reduce the amount of intensity and increase the amount of sustainability.
Exactly. That's the word. Thank you.
Right. So I have 5 W's. The
Okay.
5 W's that affect value setting. And they are who, where, what, when, and why. Just can you shed light to them out? I believe you should start with who.
Who? The first question you want to ask yourself is, who do you admire?
Hmm.
Your admiration would help, who you admire would help tilt your values in that line. So you see somebody who admires a pastor, you find out that he wants to do everything he's hearing his pastor say. The pastor is always praying he wants to do that. Somebody who admires a good keyboardist, he wants to get his personal keyboard and start practicing. So the question is, who do you admire? Who you admire has the ability to influence your values. Number two is what? What principles matters most to you? When you hear of this principle, that principle, do those principles really count in your life? Do you think there are things you should enforce or engage in your personal life? Number three is where. Our environment has the ability to shape our values. The Bible says, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. It says, be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners. So I know we can claim to be lilies in the mire, but where you live, where you stay, there are places you go to and you say, no, I can't stay here. All right. There are things, some people, you go to a meeting and they are doing some things and you are like, look at the camera everywhere. If the camera captures me and I'm in this scenario, I'm in this scene, how does it feel? And you feel, no, even though other people are comfortable here, I can't be here. I have to leave this place as soon as possible. So the question where is also very important. The next one you mentioned, I think, is when.
When and why.
Okay, when. If you look at the progression we make in life, when did certain values become important to you? Yeah. I was telling somebody recently, I said, I thank God I didn't get married 5 years ago. I thank God I didn't get married 3 years ago. Right now, my priorities are entirely different from what it was 5 years ago. So when is a very important question. When do certain values begin to matter to you, and why? Why do you need these values? Okay, what's the purpose? Okay, you don't do this. Can somebody ask you why? Is it because somebody said? They told us that this thing should not be done like this. Do you have a concrete belief system that tells you this is wrong or this is right? Yeah, that's a very important one.
And the moment you ask yourself why, the moment you understand why, the tendency for you to be deceived will be very low.
Exactly, because you know your why.
All right, sir. What are the benefits of building this healthy value system?
I've been talking about decisions. I so much believe in decisions. If you have built good value system over the years, it would help inform the kind of decisions you make. So you are always saying, I cannot do this. I think I can do this. Okay? Number two, it helps in building a strong character. So your character, your reputation becomes so strong. Oh, if it is this person, we know him for this, he cannot do that. Number two, it helps in improving your mental and emotional well-being. I'm saying that if you have built a healthy value system, it impacts on your health, it impacts on that's your bodily now, it impacts on your mental health, and then it impacts on your emotional well-being. Also, it helps in giving you a more meaningful and respectful life. So people want to respect you. People look at you with so much reverence and admiration because your life is meaningful. Your values are core and they are good. And then finally, it helps in giving you a greater sense of purpose.
Sense of purpose.
Yeah. A greater sense of purpose.
I know all this cannot be achieved without discipline. So what role will discipline play in achieving all this?
Disciplines help. Being disciplined helps in making sure that you align with your values. So sometimes there are things that are pleasurable. There are things that would earn you money. Do you understand that? Someone reached out to me and said I should help him hack somebody's account. Now I was like, is it that somebody hacked your account and then you're trying to recover it? Or you want to hack? He said he wants to hack somebody's account out of pain and out of anger. And I'm like, yes, that's something I can actually do. But why go that way? All right? And I decided to turn it down. So even though you can do it, doesn't mean it should be done. Discipline helps you in always asking that question, should this be done? Yeah.
And if it should be done, why should it be done?
Why should it be done?
All right, sir. We know that the society, as you said earlier on, is made up of families, and the society is made up of families, and families are made up of individuals. What role does value play in the current state of our society today?
In our society, we see that there is so much unrest, ranging from violence to drug abuse, and so much unrest in the society. Now, all these are a reflection of the loss in personal values. People who practice these things, they do them because they have lost their sense, they've lost their identity, they've lost who they really are. And so they are now living the kind of life that they should not live. Yeah, so personal values has a way of shaping the society and making it what it should be.
How do we correct?
If you want to actually correct these anomalies in the society, we have to go back to the drawing board. And going back to the drawing board means going back to correct the wrongs going on in families. You see a child look at the mother in the eye and curse the mother. I think it's Proverbs chapter 12, where the Bible says, there is a generation that curses their mother and do not reverence their father. Okay? So we need to go back to correcting the anomalies in families. Parents have a great role to play in this correction if the society must become what it should be. You want to begin from a very young stage to teach your children what they should do and what they should not. You know, a young boy should be taught that he too can cook. If he gets into the kitchen, it doesn't burn him. It doesn't make him less of a man. A girl should be taught to, she can change the tire of a car. I know that is hard work, but there should be no, real discrepancy saying this is what a man can do, this is what a woman cannot do. Those things shouldn't come in. It would help in informing our values. Recently, I was talking to my mom, and I told her, I said, most women are looking for a man that is already made so that they can marry that person and settle with that person. What is giving women this mindset? Is there a job in this world that you go to look for and they say we don't employ women here, we employ only men? I believe if I can look for money, you can look for money too. Yes. So I think it's something we really need to correct in the society. That would help curb all of these prostitutions that is going on and the unrest in our society.
So going back to the basic, going back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And the drawing board is the basic unit of the society, the family.
Yeah.
All right, sir, your final words on this value system, building value system, developing value system.
I wrote something down. I said, strong personal values are the foundation of a purposeful and fulfilling life. Strong personal values. If in your life you find out that you can do everything, you can fall for everything, then by the end of your life, you would have a regretful life. you have a life full of regrets. But if from a very young age you begin to prioritize your values, at the end of the day, you have a fulfilling life. I also wrote down that values guide our decisions, shape our character, influence society positively. By consciously defining and living by your values, you create a life of integrity, a life of resilience, and a life of lasting impact. Yeah.
A life of lasting impact. We all need to answer these questions if we're effectively going to shape our life. We need to answer, where am I coming from? Who am I? Why am I here? How should I live? And where am I going? If you do this, your life will be great. You will live a life that will be free from regrets. Thank you very much.